Hey, it's Christy from Inity, the agency for staunch artivists, and today I would like to share with you 5 considerations if you want to use your platform to promote social change. So there's definitely a place for activist artists with the rise of social movements like the Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter, the outcry about the atrocities in South Sudan and what's going on at the border. I mean, the list goes on. There isn't a better time than now to align yourself with like-minded audiences, brands, and organizations. But first, I want you to keep in mind that protest art and protest music in particular can be a really delicate thing because, it can come off or at least be perceived as being a little preachy, maybe a little bit short-sighted or even opportunistic. Because if you're speaking out about something that's a hot topic and you're riding the wave, some people could think that might be a little douchey. Another assumption is that these works of art can become outdated very quickly. So I want you to think about it though, think about songs that addressed social and political ills like back in the day that can still serve as representations for all of the madness that's happening now. For instance, War by Bob Marley. It spoke about oppression, oppressive systems, racism, classicism, and so forth. And if you heard that song for the first time, you could say, oh, this is about the times we're living in now, right? I think that song, though, is just one example of a song that holds true for some of today's movements. So whether you take on an issue with one song or activism and social consciousness is a part of your persona, it's who you are, I want to give you these 5 points to consider so your art can have a real and a lasting impact. So the first consideration, number 1, is to be genuine. When you speak out about an issue, make sure it's something you are passionate about, because if you jump the bandwagon, when it has to do with a food craze or a style or a fashion, that's one thing, but it's kind of messed up to do the same when lives are being affected by oppressive systems. Like music, social movements cultivate a sense of community. So your work can actually play a big part in strengthening that community when you stand in solidarity with people. So to jump on a social movement because it seems trendy isn't only disingenuous, but your newfound audience that feels supported by you will feel, in a sense, abandoned when you move on to the next hot thing. Number 2, do your homework. The last thing you want to do is voice your opinion about something and then not have the knowledge to extend your statement further. So when you use your platform to highlight a social ill or point the finger at a person or about corruption, you should be able to back your views. And I understand that, some of these things are very deeply rooted. I would say most social and political issues are definitely deeply rooted, but do your best to understand it. Research the issue, research the causes, the symptoms, who are being affected by these issues, who are the key players and the policies and the freedoms at stake. Those are just some examples of things to look into. And if you can, draw from personal experiences. I think there isn't anything better than that. And if nothing else, be ready to answer this question. How did you arrive at your perspective? Number 3, be prepared for some backlash. So when you publicly voice your opinion, you can't think you can do that without some kind of opposition. I wouldn't think so. But the test of a truly conscious artist is the willingness to walk the walk and not allow the potential of backlash to deter you from speaking out. So then what can you do, you might ask? I would say that you can prepare yourself by learning more about the arguments of the opposing side. And I'm going to assume that you are a conscious artist, so being a conscious person, you are more open-minded. And so even though you may not agree with the opposition, you start with this, you lead with love, but you stand strong. You get that? Because a talented person with a heart and a platform is a very powerful thing. Also know that when you voice your opinion about something political or social, that also runs the risk of losing an audience that you maybe work so hard to build. But I just want you to trust that once you embrace who you are as a human and who you are as an artist, you're gonna continuously attract an audience that resonates with you, or that you resonate with, and that also shares the same beliefs as you. Number 4, get involved. Like, for real, get involved. Because using your platform to raise awareness about a social issue is, it's a little risky. So it's definitely a courageous act and a contribution in and of itself. I'll never take that away from it. But still, you have to understand that change requires consistency and continuity. What can you do? You can align yourself with an organization, you can align yourself with a brand or even an event that addresses the very issue that you're passionate about. And what happens is, when you do that, you're not only amplifying the cause, it also fosters relationships with audiences that share your passion for change. And the last one, number 5, if you are in a group or a band, make sure you are on the same page, please. So when you build a brand around a movement that can potentially cause some type of controversy, it's better when the crew is on the same page, because each member is just that, a representative of the group. For instance, if your song calls out the tendency of Trompitos rhetoric to amplify the ideologies of racists, and then later on one of your members is seen outside somewhere rocking a MAGA hat, that might cause some heads scratches. I was gonna say heads to scratch, but that doesn't happen, right? But also, more importantly, it puts your credibility into question. So, like I said, just be on the same page with your band members when it comes to speaking out about social issues. And as far as everything else, when it comes to being an artist, but that's for another video, I guess. So that's basically all I have for you. I better go before I start rambling, but I just want you to know that activist artistry comes with responsibility, and it's up to you to determine how far you're willing to go to catalyze positive social change. But when in doubt, and I say this all the time, look within. Look within, look to other artists for inspiration, and understand that real change happens when you realize that all of this is bigger than you. So let me know in the comments if there are any points that you'd like to add, or if there's anything you agree with or disagree with, tell me why. And as always, please, when you have time, visit inity.co to see what we are up to, what we do, and you can read our blog on there for more inspiration on conscious artistry. And of course, I have to ask, while you're there, could you please sign up for our monthly newsletter where I share some insights about the industry and of course some client love, because we have some awesome clients. So remember, you are an artist, you are a visionary, and you are a leader, and you're a part of a generation of activists at the forefront of positive change. Thank you so much. One love, and we will